TISAX and 27001 webinar. Let me share my screen here. All right. Hopefully that's coming through okay.
Yes, it is.
All right. Okay, so Kelsey already introduced me. Okay, starting with TISAX, Trusted Information Security Assessment Exchange. That's what it stands for. And it is put forward by the ENX Association and VDA, the German Automobile Union. Okay, and founded in the year 2000. And at the bottom, you see there is a 15-member association that makes up the ENX. And this is an alphabetical listing of who is part of that association that makes up the ENX. ENX.com is a website that you can go to get information on all things TISAX. Why is information security important to the OEMs? This is a key question that may be on the minds of a lot of you. And then what you see at the bottom left here in red, TISAX is now a formal requirement to win new contracts. So a lot of OEMs and tier ones are now making TISAX part of the requirement to be able to respond on an RFQ. Okay, so if you're not certified to TISAX, you won't even get an RFQ. So because of the increasing importance of cybersecurity, increasing instances of companies being hacked or held to ransomware, everybody is nervous about intellectual property being compromised, and rightfully so. So it's becoming increasingly a mandatory requirement that companies be certified to TISAX before they can qualify for RFQs. What you see in the bottom here is a clause out of IATF. 6123 in IATF addresses is the business contingency plan clause in IATF. And since 2017, when the standard was first released, there have been several updates to the standard by way of sanctioned interpretations, where cybersecurity related clauses have been added to the contingency plan expectations. And the cybersecurity requirements extend also to the shop floor. So it covers both IT and OT, the operations technology, because a lot of the equipment on the shop floor is now connected to the internet. And because they're connected to the internet, they are likely to be hacked by bad actors and compromised. So because of that, the 6123 clause in IATF also has some cybersecurity expectations in it. There's also the expectation that you have to test the business contingency plan for cyber attacks and things like that. All of that put together is why information security is increasingly important to OEMs. So why do we need TISAX certification? To protect organizational assets and information needed for the business, and to protect the customer intellectual property. There could be customer intellectual property, there could be your own domain expertise and proprietary processes and information that you want to protect. So all of those put together is what justifies the need for TISAX certification. This is another slide to elaborate on the same thing. Have you ever panicked when you lost your mobile device or your laptop? Or this on the right-hand side is this actually happened where a very expensive Formula One prototype was left in the trunk of a rental car. And Formula One cars are in the millions of dollars. And there's a lot of development work that goes into building Formula One cars. So intellectual property is liable to be compromised out there because we as human beings, we make mistakes, we forget things and so on. So all of this needs to be protected. Ransomware attack. This almost on a weekly basis, you hear of different companies being attacked and intellectual property information or personal data being compromised. Blue screen of death. This is something that almost a year ago, the CrowdStrike event that happened last year that resulted in millions of computers across the globe having a blue screen event should be fresh in the minds of most people. I mentioned the ENX website earlier, enx.com. On the ENX website, there is the participant handbook, which is the TISAX Bible, if you will. It's when you are starting on your TISAX journey, it's a good idea to download the participant handbook and read through it, because that'll give you and it's very well laid out, the table of contents that you see here. So these are all hyperlinks, and you can click on various topics to go right to it. There's also a download section where you can download the ISA document. The ISA is the Information Security Assessment document, which is an Excel file that you can download. And the ISA is what you would use for your TISAX journey. The ISA, we will go into it in much detail in the coming slides. The ISA has a total of 80 controls that need to be applied to the TISAX framework. The 80 controls are divided into 3 different tabs, which we will talk about shortly. The desired TISAX label. Label is the word that TISAX uses instead of certificate. In the ISO environment, you typically get an ISO 9001 certificate. In the case of TISAX, you get a label, and the labels are different levels of labels that we will go into. The desired TISAX label is a combination of these 3 things on the right-hand side. You have external needs, internal wants, and the desired labels. Most customers would, depending on the type of supplier you are, and depending on the level of sensitivity of the information that they share with you, the customer will have an expectation of what label they expect you to be certified to. Okay, and then there's maturity levels. The maturity levels are control by control in the TISAX ISA. You are expected to attain a maturity level of 3, which is the basic expectation in order to be certified. But based on how well the control has been deployed in your organization, whether it has policies and procedures associated with it, Has it been deployed so the right people are aware of the policy and they are working to the policy on a daily basis? That will determine the maturity level that is assigned to that particular control. So when an auditor goes through the ISA with you, the auditor is looking for evidence on the level to which a control has been deployed. And based on that, they will assign it a maturity level. So this is the same thing. The goal is to attain a maturity level of 3. And this is the assessment levels, and AL1, AL2, and AL3. In most cases, the expectation is to be at an AL2 or an AL3. So we will mainly focus on those two. And then you have assessment methods here. The self-assessment involves going through the ISA, the 80 controls in the ISA. That is required in both cases. Evidence, this is the amount of evidence that's being collected. In the case of AL2, which is a lesser requirement, it's a plausibility assessment, whereas in the case of AL3, it's a more in-depth assessment. So the evidence collection in AL3 will be more intense than the AL2. The AL2 evidence will be more, the auditor will cherry pick based on what they think is important to your TISAX framework. Interviews, AL2 is all done remotely. AL3 is almost always done on site. So face-to-face interviews. And then on-site audits, in the case of AL2, it's determined on a case-by-case basis, and in AL3, it's a requirement. And this is a comparison between TISAX and 27001. 27001 is it's similar to if you are familiar with ISO 9001 or IATF for that matter, that is based on a quality management system. So the 27001 has an information security management system, which is the information security equivalent of the quality management system. So similar to the quality management system, you have information security specific processes that are defined in a process map with sequence and interactions between the processes. And that's how a 27001 ISMS is deployed. TISAX uses the ISA. So ISA with the controls that are split between 3 different tabs. Okay, so the 27001 is a complete management system. TISAX is not a complete management system. And in the 27001 case, there is something called a statement of applicability. This is a document that you have to put together that addresses the 93 controls that are in Annex A of 27001. The 93 controls are split up among different categories. I believe there's about 5 different categories that the 93 controls are split up into. And when you put together the SOA, you have to go line by line on those 93 controls, and you have to determine, is this control applicable to our ISMS? And if it is applicable, you have to have some kind of policy or procedure that defines the applicability of that control, how it's deployed, and who's doing what on a day-to-day basis kind of thing. In the case of TISAX, the ISA itself becomes the statement of applicability. Type of certification. I already mentioned that in the case of 27001, you get a certificate issued, and that's generally done. The audit for 27001 typically happens as a stage 1, stage 2 audit, and the stage 2 audit is the certification audit, and after the stage 2 audit is when the certificate is issued. In the case of TISAX, you are issued a label, and the label is published on the ENX platform. So when you go through the audit and you pass the audit and the label is issued, that label is uploaded onto the ENX platform, and it can be viewed by various interested parties, most important of which is your customer. Validity is exactly the same for the two in terms of duration. They're both valid for 3 years. In the case of TISAX, there is no annual surveillance audits that are required by third-party registrars. Instead of the annual surveillance audits, you are expected to rescore yourself on the ISA periodically, and that is kind of the equivalent of having internal audits in the case of TISAX. In the case of 27001, you would do internal audits periodically, at least once a year at a minimum, and you would go through surveillance audits on the first year and the second year after certification, and then the third year will be a recertification audit. Very much the same as an ISO 9001 type of situation. All right. Before I talk about this, let me say, in the case of ISO 9001, the quality management system, the most important outcome of the quality management system is customer satisfaction. In the case of the ISMS, the most important or expected outcome of the ISMS is CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. We will talk more about CIA and expand on that a little bit further. But CIA is the main deliverable of the ISMS. Your information security management system must safeguard your information, and the safeguarding the information is broken up into these 3 categories. All right. Determining organizational assets that require protection. So I mentioned that there are 80 controls in the case of TISAX, 93 controls in the case of 27001. All those controls are in place to safeguard your assets. And this slide here is showing you how the assets can be broken up into. There is the tendency in a lot of cases for people to think that TISAX, it's all about IT. So it's just the IT manager that needs to worry about TISAX. The rest of us can go about our business happily. This slide is to mainly show you that it's not just IT that we're talking about. It covers the entire organization. So there's intellectual property, there's financials that needs to be, there could be sensitive financial information that needs to be safeguarded. If you are developing software, there's code and architecture, customer-owned data, customer tooling, personal data. So HR deals with a lot of personal data. There is health information that needs to be safeguarded, compensation information that needs to be safeguarded, product designs, proprietary process secrets, and organizational knowledge. So these are different types of assets that require protection. And this is those same kind of assets lumped into 3 different broad buckets here. There are physical assets, information assets, and people assets, right? Like building, equipment, hardware, information assets, everybody's familiar with. People assets, your key people with domain knowledge that have gathered a lot of experience over the years and accumulated a lot of domain expertise. Those would be your people assets. And this is an example of how you would create an inventory of assets. Okay, and these are different types of assets here: product drawings, bill of materials, product recipes, employee contracts. And then you have these different categories that these assets fall into. That's the check marks here. Each of these assets should have an owner and where is it located in your organization. So this is an example of how you would track those assets in an asset matrix. So 27001 versus TISAX, this is a comparison of the scope of what each of those covers, okay? So the graphic on the right-hand side, who is assigned to guard the fence around the ISMS? That's so when we're talking about scope, we're talking about boundaries. What's included, what's excluded, right? So that's why you have this graphic on the right-hand side. In the case of 27001, it typically requires an ISMS manual. And in the ISMS manual, you would have a scope statement that defines the scope of the ISMS. It's very similar to the ISO 9001, where you have a QMS manual. And in the QMS manual, you would have a scope statement that defines the scope of the QMS. In the case of 27001, the scope of the assessment must be identical with the scope of the ISMS. So whatever is the scope in the ISMS manual that you have, the audit should follow the same scope and cover the same scope. In the case of TISAX, you have to define your ISMS, but the scope of the assessment can be different than what the scope of the ISMS can be. So to define the scope in TISAX, you usually start out by logging on to the ENX portal. And on the ENX portal, there is a menu item where you can start defining your scope. And defining the scope is typically done by a bunch of checkboxes, different that define the operations. It starts with your total headcount, the headcount that is directly associated with the ISMS, the type of security you have at the site, blah, blah, blah. There's a bunch of questions or scenarios that are presented, and you would have to check the boxes that most define your operations. And when you finish going through all the check boxes and you hit submit, it compiles a scope and it uploads it to the ENX portal. And that is reviewed by the ENX people and approved. And when ENX approves your scope upload, they issue, and it also includes a roughly 400 euro registration fee that you have to pay. And the registration fee increases if you have multiple sites that you are including as part of the scope. So you have to pay the registration fee as part of requesting a scope excerpt from ENX. So when they approve your scope, they issue what's called a scope excerpt, which has a unique ID number that is assigned to your organization. And this scope excerpt is what you would share with your registrar for them to quote your business to get you TISAX certified. So that's how the scope works in the case of TISAX. If you're familiar with a scope statement in the 27001 or in the case of 9001, where you write out your scope as a paragraph, in the case of TISAX, you don't write it out as a paragraph. It's done as a interactive exercise on the ENX website where you check boxes and then you hit submit and it uploads it. And then you receive a scope excerpt which has all that information in a summary. All right. So now we're getting into the ISA itself. So the information security assessment. Okay, it's based on controls outlined in 27001 with additional specifications tailored for TISAX requirements. So we talked about the ISA. It serves as a structured questionnaire for evaluating your ISMS. So there is considerable commonality between 27001 and TISAX. If you already have a 27001 certification, I would say you're probably 60 to 70% of the way there in becoming TISAX certified, because there's a lot of commonality in the controls in Annex A of 27001 and the controls of TISAX. Customization, it includes additional controls not found in 27001, such as for prototype protection, which are relevant to automakers and suppliers. So 27001 is more broad in its application. It applies to a variety of industry segments. And it can apply even to a service company. You don't have to necessarily be making a product to be 27001 certified. TISAX is very narrow in its focus, and it's very specifically directed at the automotive industry. And that's why the customization, it's going into prototype protection, which is very specific to the auto industry. Structured by domains, information security, connections to third parties, data protection, and prototype protection. So these are the different domains that are covered in the TISAX ISA. And in the assessment, organizations use the ISA to assess their information security practices. And that's how you would prepare for a third-party registrar to audit you. There are must and should requirements in the ISA. Okay. You may be familiar with ISO standards. The word shall in an ISO standard, anything that follows the word shall is a non-negotiable. You have to incorporate that shall requirement into your processes. And in an external audit, the auditor will sample different shalls, and they will look for evidence that those shalls are incorporated into the processes, and there is evidence to say that the processes are meeting the shall requirements. In the case of the ISA, there are the equivalent of the shall is the must. Okay. The must requirements are mandatory requirements that must, that the TISAX controls, you must comply to those requirements. And if you don't have evidence to meet with a must requirement, then that can result in not being certified. It'll most certainly result in a non-conformance in the TISAX audit. It can possibly also prevent you from being certified if the number of must requirements that are being violated are large. Should requirement are above and beyond must requirements. But should requirements are not strictly mandatory. So if you're not meeting a should requirement, it doesn't lead to outright failure, but it may lead to a maturity rating that is lower, or they may have some improvement recommendations based on should requirements that are not met. So the must and should requirements are what TISAX covers in the standard, and those are the equivalent of the shall requirements in an ISO standard. So we talked about labels, we talked about maturity ratings. Now we're talking about assessment objectives. Okay, and this is something specific to TISAX, and this is broken up into the 3 tabs here. So this is for the information security tab, this is for the prototype protection tab, and this is for the data protection tab. These are the 3 tabs in the ISA document. And you have objectives for information high, information very high, and there is the description of the level of protection on information that's required. This is the same thing for confidentiality of information. And then this is the same for availability of information with high protection needs and very high protection needs. So especially, let's say you are a distributor and you distribute products, and your customers approach you through your website, and on your website is where they are able to look at what products you are distributing. And multiple customers are accessing your website simultaneously. I would think that you would need to have a high level of availability of the website. It should allow for so many concurrent users, and it should the response of the website should be fast, and there shouldn't be lag in when a customer clicks on something and it produces the information. So that's an example of very high availability, especially if your business depends on things like that. Okay, and generally these assessment objectives are defined by the customer. The customer may tell you whether they want info very high, they want strictly confidential, and so on. But you as an organization may also have some objectives that you want your TISAX framework to meet. Prototype protection. So this is for especially if you are testing full vehicles, and if your parts go into a prototype vehicle that the market that is not open to the general public, it's and you are testing your components on a prototype vehicle, the expectations of confidentiality on that vehicle could be very high. You don't want the wrong people taking pictures of it and posting it on the internet, and a future model, information about a future model is already put out into the open market before you're ready for that. So this is all associated with prototype protection. And later on, we will look at a slide that talks about what assessment levels you would have to go for based on what of these assessment objectives are applicable. And then this is the last one about data protection. There's data and special data. And because TISAX originated in Europe, GDPR, which is a European General Data Protection Regulation, which is a compliance requirement for data in Europe, applicable in the European Union. If you are processing data that involves personal information, GDPR regulation applies, and you would have to abide by the GDPR regulations. And in that, there are different, there's regular data and then special data. And special data requires a higher level of protection because it has confidential, like what's also referred to as PII, personally identifiable information. If there is PII involved, then the special data category may be the assessment objective you want to go for. All right, I'm going to try and wrap this up in about next 5 to 10 minutes so I can allow some time for questions here. These are the assessment levels. So AL2s, wherever it's high, confidential, high availability, and data is AL2, and anything that has very high or strict in it as an adjective is AL3. So these are the different types of assessment levels that apply based on the assessment objective that you as an organization choose, or your customer expects you to choose a particular assessment objective. All right, so real quick, these are the controls. 80 controls are split into 46 in information security, 22 in prototype protection, and 12 in data protection. Assuming all of those apply to your TISAX framework, you have to go through all of them and assign a maturity rating for each of those controls. And as I mentioned before, a maturity rating of 3 or better is what is expected for you to be certified. This is a spider chart. When you go through the 3 tabs, the InfoSec, prototype protection, data protection, and you assign maturity ratings to each of them, the results populate on a spider chart. And if you see 3 has been achieved for all of these different control categories. Okay, so this is how the scoring. So you have these 3 tabs here for the 3 different sets of controls, and then the results tab is where the scoring populates as a summary. Okay, so these are some recommendations from Omnex for TISAX in 27001. So 27001 follows the Annex SL or the what's commonly known as high-level structure. So 27001 is laid out in a very similar way to ISO 9001, if you're familiar with that. Clause 4 is context of the organization. Clause 5 is leadership. Clause 6 is planning. Clause 7 is support and infrastructure. So 27001 is laid out exactly in the same way, except each of the clauses is applicable to the information security management system. All right. TISAX can be seen as a domain-specific adaptation of 27001, which I talked about. It's very narrow in its focus to the automotive industry. 27001 is the gold standard and is the basis for other sector-specific standards. This is a sample process map for the ISMS. So you have the inputs feeding into the process map, and then the output, like I mentioned earlier, is CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And if there are any compliance obligations, those are being met. This is split up into 3 different types of processes. These at the top are typically management-oriented processes. The ones at the bottom typically are support-oriented processes, and the ones in the middle are the core processes. The core processes are the ones that define the information security. So there's processes like identity and access management, risk management, data backup and recovery, malware, vulnerability, penetration testing, and so on. So just broken up by types of processes. It's a typical process map that you may be familiar with seeing. This is a outline of the documentation structure, level 1s through 4. This is typically how external auditors look at documentation. Level 1 is always the high level ISMS manual or the QMS manual that gives a broad overview of the management system itself. It typically has a company profile. It has a scope statement. It has a process map. It has a list of processes, maybe KPIs and metrics associated with the processes, and so on. So that's your level 1 document. Level 2 document is typically the SOPs, the standard operating processes. Who does what when is what that addresses. Level 3 gets a little bit more granular and goes into the how, work instructions, step 1, step 2, step 3. This is how we do something. And then level 4 typically is what auditors would be most interested in, is records. So when you perform a task, usually you fill out a checklist or there's a form that needs to be filled out, and that a filled out checklist becomes a record. A filled out form becomes a record, and records are expected to be retained and produced as evidence in the case of an audit. All right, so these are some examples of TISAX expectations for the North American geography. It started out as a German car maker expectation, and it has now moved to other parts of the world. Stellantis now has adopted TISAX and is rolling it out to their suppliers. So all of this is available from the OEMs and tier 1s that are also requiring TISAX of their supply chain. These are the types of suppliers and the expectation for the assessment level that the suppliers are expected to meet. ZF, which is a large tier 1 supplier, formerly used to be TRW Automotive, now it's ZF. And this is this is not all of their requirements, but it's a partial, it's just a screen capture from the ZF website. This is PACCAR, and what PACCAR expects from their supply chain. So you see the portion in bold here. They expect AL3 certification from their suppliers. And each of these, either the OEM or the tier 1s, have deadlines when they expect you to be certified by. I believe in the case of PACCAR, it's Q2 of 2026 that they expect their suppliers to be TISAX certified by. So these, there are several of the OEMs and tier 1s that even in North America side are expecting their suppliers to be certified. So I believe this is the last slide. So how do you start on your journey? It usually starts with a gap assessment. Discuss your scope with Omnex. Do you want to implement both 27001 and TISAX. And even if you go only for TISAX, you would have to establish a 27001 style ISMS. Do you want it to be integrated with your existing IATF or ISO 9001? Omnex works with a lot of customers to make an integrated management system. And then you would have to identify process owners, assign metrics, and go about the implementation process. And the bullet at the bottom, this is a statistic from the year 2024 on why having an ISMS saves you money. 50% of the organizations have been hacked in 2024, and the average cost of recovering from the hack was $4.4 million. So being hacked can be very costly, not only from disrupting your operations and from the money that you spend, but also from a reputation. It can be costly. So it makes a lot of sense to invest in an ISMS, not only for you internally, but also for the sake of making you more attractive to potential customers out there. All right, let me stop there and allow some time for questions. If you want to put your questions in the Q&A, the chat. Okay. The cost for TISAX certification. So Omnex is not a third-party registrar. We don't certify anybody to TISAX. We only do the consulting work, and we prepare you to be able to face an audit from a third-party registrar. I'm just going to give you like a very high-level answer on it. If you're going for AL2 certification and it's a single site, the cost can be less than $10,000. If you're going for AL3 certification and a single site, the cost can be less than $20,000. But don't hold me to that. This is just, like I said, we are not a third-party registrar. We don't certify anybody. This is just some numbers that I've heard in the engagements that I have done so far. Any other questions? All right. Doesn't look like there are any other. Oh, okay. Deadline for. So I'm assuming you're asking about Stellantis. I don't remember the Stellantis deadline for TISAX certification off the top of my head. But if you send an email to Omnex or to me, happy to share the document that Stellantis has issued. It's a PDF, and it has the deadline in there. Happy to email that back to you. You can also Google it and come upon it. It's not something that only Omnex has. But yeah, happy to, if you email us, happy to email that Stellantis TISAX expectations document to you. All right, it doesn't seem like there are any more questions. So I want to take the opportunity to thank you for participating. I hope that this information was useful to you. Feel free to reach out to Omnex if we can help you in your TISAX journey. We will be happy to assist in any gap assessments or implementation requirements that you may have. And Kelsey, you want to say a few words? I think we are just about wrapped up here.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone who joined today's webinar. We hope to see you guys at our webinars in the future, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks, Kumar.
Thank you.